All right, and I am back. Hopefully you're not sick of me, but I think this is really fun that I get to spend some time on Adobe Live today and kind of do a continuation of what I started this morning with the design masterclass. So I'm gonna start off with a brand new feature going from Illustrator to Photoshop. Once we're in Photoshop, of course we're gonna do some Photoshop work, but also we're gonna move that into After Effects. Because as you can see below, it's all about animating layers. Thank you, Michelle. You are too kind. I'm gonna take a drink of my coffee. We're gonna get this party started. Umacorn, good to have you here, my friend. Jan Tillert's here. Chris Olson. If everybody's here, is everybody here? Is anybody in the hallways? Who's in the hallway? Get in class. All right. You're getting credit today, 3 credits in Imagination University. Man, coffee's so much better without expired creamer. So good. So good. Anna McNaught. I want to shout out to Anna McNaught. It's been a host this week. And Anna, you have been killing it on Instagram. Like, as part of your series, you've been knocking out so much work and making me feel so lazy. So thanks for that. Appreciate it. But check out Anna McNaught's work. Anna McNaughty on good old Instagram. But yeah, shout out anybody. Yeah, feel free to say a shout out for yourself. So yes, this is what we started with this morning. So this is what I want to kind of briefly talk about since I get to go from a design masterclass to a Photoshop masterclass. Hey, how about if we go from this design and bring it into Photoshop? I do want to point out off to the side. In fact, let's kind of reorder these. Possibilities are everywhere. So notice how I've named all these sub layers already. Okay, so then bring them into Photoshop. I want to be mindful of that. We'll do an edit. We'll do a copy. We'll launch Photoshop. Move that down. File new. 1080, 1350. So that happens to be the size that I want it at. Pasting it in. So this is the new feature. Oh, Anna. Oh, life hack. They're all set to auto post. I do not have that set up, and nor do I know how to do it on Instagram. I use Buffer for a lot of that stuff. So what we had prior to last month was we had these 4 selections. I would typically bring something in as like a smart object or shape layer, whatever, it just depends. Right, but now we have this new option, bring things in as layers. This is going to preserve the attributes, layer structure, positioning. Sometimes it'll rasterize things, like if it obviously is not going to understand a radial repeat pattern, because that doesn't exist in Photoshop, right? So it might rasterize some things, but everything's already outlined, so it should be fine. So let's just click OK. Bam! There everything is, like so. And if we take a peek at our layers panel, we could see, twirl this down, you could see all these sub layers, right? So ultimately, yeah, this is what we get. Cool. Sweet. All right. So hopefully that makes sense. I know my resolution is a little small, so let's just adjust at least my panel options to be a little larger. See over here kind of what it does. And I'm going to show you how to consolidate all this stuff. Right, so if we twirl down the possibilities, I love it. The subgroup came in. We have all of these objects. Each letter is its own little vector object, as we can see. So we get this little icon. Yeah, so it's so nice. And yeah, I can manipulate that, but I want to combine them all together. So I'm going to select all of them, Shift Select, right click, right? Because I want them all on one layer, but I still want them to be vector layers. Right down here, merge shapes. Right click, merge shapes. Bam, there it is. It's compound path because there is that O in there, which I'm actually going to delete. So here we have this. right? Like I said, everything is vector. Let's get rid of that. I hope my text is going to be legible by the end of this, but I want to put some photography, like some imagery inside of this text. So that's why I'm getting rid of some of the negative space in these letters. Okay, so there that is. Let's change this. Posse up. You guys get the idea. What are you guys doing? Yeah, R was gone. R was kind of in a different little folder. Right, you get the idea. Now that we know this, we can go a lot faster. Merge shapes. Merge shapes. And each one of these are going to be individual vector layers that I'm going to put some photos in. And then we'll actually bring this all into After Effects as well. Take all these, delete them, and name everything accordingly. All right. This is sometimes the hardest part of my job, is like spelling things correctly. This is why I'm like, oh, I'm a designer. I'm not, what? English? No. Letters? No, those are all shapes to me. They're just fun shapes that I get to put together in interesting ways. That's all they really are. We have all these fun shapes. There's still that negative space in these other letters that I'll go ahead and clean up and do all that stuff. But again, I just wanted to show you guys that fancy new feature of like bringing in content from Illustrator. By the way, when I jump directly to a layer, Option click, it will zoom to that layer. Option click on the layer thumbnail. What do you think? Is this going to be legible? We might be throwing so much at this, it might not be legible by the time I'm done with it. You know, I'm like, oh, I really hope it's legible. I'm running a risk. Get the posse. Hey, there we are. Man Zero. Oh, yeah. Select all this. Let's stretch it up. Holding down the Option key. And then the Shift key will break the image constraints. Possibilities are everywhere. So, and yeah, this is a case where, like, Anna, I could see you doing this. Like, you did some amazing posts this week. Your stuff is so beautiful. It's so consistent. Like, the color palette's very, like, consistent. It all goes together. But your stuff seems very optimistic and ethereal and all that fun stuff. I could see you dropping one into each word group right in here, right? And that's what I want to do, by the way. And again, we could use libraries. I always encourage people to go to stock.adobe.com. Change this to free, right? And then we can search for landscape. That's how you get your free images. Right, we want optimistic images. Yeah, this one works. We'll license it. We'll go to this one. That one's already licensed. Guess what? We will download it again. Right, this one. Full of possibilities. But it's not just possibilities like landscapes, right? We got to think on sort of micro and macro level. So let's think macro, we would do planets. Because again, possibilities. You look out into space, anything is possible. We'll grab some of these as well. Something cool, Like this one's cool. Looks like a sci-fi cover into it. And let me know if you have questions. Yeah, exactly. No math. Math, actually, I was not good at math. Again, I think when you're a visual thinker, I think math is abstract and hard to deal with. And math also, yeah, again, has absolutes. And I think when it comes to art, we don't have a lot of absolutes, right? There is no, I'd like to think there's no right answer, right? Which is a blessing and a curse, I think. So let's think on a micro level, like microcosm, is that micro? Or microscopic? Let's just get really small. Yeah, well, no, I don't want that. But I want stuff kind of like this. I want like this sort of image. But I don't think that's free, actually. Let's do microbe. You guys get the idea. You guys know how to download images. Guess what? There's more, by the way. You guys know I use plugins. Plugins. Free stock search, right? Open this up. So if maybe you don't find anything on Adobe Stock under free images, yeah, I encourage you to like support the art industry, like support photographers, use some credits, buy some cool images, right? Because a lot of people, you know, just post to free sites, and I'm like, yeah, you should probably get something for your work. So right in here, we get some cool images. This just allows me to, you know, download from these sites like Unsplash, Pixabay, all those resources. So that's all I'm doing here, right? Copy, come in here, paste. Guess what? Clipping mask, you got it. Not only, I know some amazing creative sort of physicists. Well, yes, you're exactly right, Barbara. Yes. And like I just said, like, there aren't a lot of absolutes, like, in life. Like, I personally don't, I make sweeping generalizations all the time. Because it's easy as, you know, as a human to put things in boxes to help our brain, like, understand them. But yes, of course, it takes a ton of creativity if you're a lawyer or a physicist or all that stuff. I'm kind of talking about just the visual arts, though. Right, so what am I doing here? What did I just do while I was talking? Shame on me. And I need to start animating this stuff. But again, we have to do the setup initially. So we'll do, this is like, canoe. It's probably not even a canoe, but that's okay. Lake. But yes. I remember someone said that the math. Oh, that's cool. I really like that fairy. Sort of math's not always about numbers and formulas. It's about, you know, logics and the way we think about something around us. And really, like, what is math? You have all these formulas and things. It took a creative mind to put these formulas together. So totally into it. I hope I didn't disparage anybody by saying what I did, that, you know, that stuff isn't creative, because it totally is. But, you know, like I said, numbers are just shapes to me. Letters are just shapes to me as well. So we'll go down to downloads. We have all our images right in here, and I'm going to have some fun things for us to work with as well. Okay, so here's the images that we got earlier. Grab those, drop those in, stuff like that. So I'm only going to do half of this because I actually want to bring this into I could show you how to do this in Photoshop, but really I want to spend some time in After Effects, if that works for you. And why am I going so fast? I got plenty of time. It's a good day. Hopefully everybody's having a wonderful Friday. Do I finish this design since I kind of have it already set up? Yeah, why not? All my images, drop them in, drop them in. Oh yeah, space. Yeah, and again, like, being creative or not creative or being analytical, like, there's no one is better than the other, right? Like, I really wish I had a better, probably, I don't know, more critical brain. I'm always just very happy and I think everything is awesome when I could really take some more critical thinking into things. Yeah, things are shapes. This is the thing also, Stony, as you get involved with all of this, like, you know, immediately they turn into shapes. You can't help it. And that's why people misspell when you're designing something. Because again, it turns into a shape. You no longer really see it as letters until the person looks over your shoulder and they're like, yeah, that design you've been working on for 45 minutes, you misspelled it. Happens all the time. And you're like, oh, I'm such a goofball. I'm a goofball. Oh, how do you guys put up with me? Okay, this happens when you drop in images, right? It's so large. Command T, Command 0. Oh, now I can actually see the entire bounding box for the image that way. So just do a Command 0 after doing a Command T. All right, so again, we could have fun with that. That looks pretty good. We have just various images, and you get the idea. Story of my life. Anna, did you do that? Yeah, you work on something and you clearly misspelled a major word. But that's the thing, like if I took this, so that's what I would do with this. Like this design is, I would say, pretty much done. So I'm gonna save it. How about that? What a concept. Possibilities new, because I have an old one there. So we're just going to save this. Actually, let's save this as a cloud document. We'll call this possibilities. Because again, I also like work from home. I got a coworker upstairs. It's a cat. I'm always harassing my coworker. I feel bad about that, but I harass my coworker all the time. And she just doesn't give me the time of day. She just wants treats. So I've saved this as a cloud document, and this is kind of aside from what we're talking about today, but we can show this on the web. Here it is on the web. I could paste it in, and I actually really like doing this on a live stream, especially. You could spell, what's the word that you have the hardest time spelling? Mine is restaurant. And I had to Google this morning to make sure I spelled the word possibility correct. So yeah, I've been there. Okay, so I've just pasted the link in chat. You could comment on it, right? You're gonna have these comments off to the side. What's cool about the latest version of Photoshop, which I absolutely love, is if you happen to write comments, I'm gonna see it appear in the comments panel. So I'm gonna continue to work on this, right? And the comments will be off to the side. Another thing I want to point out is the version history. So chances are is I want to bookmark this and I want to say Paul's original before I gave it to the world and they hacked it to death. Just kidding. Before I got feedback. This is Paul's original. Did I share it? I should have just shared the link. That should have worked out just fine. So again, copy link. That should be the exact same link. Let's paste it in there. Yeah, it should be the same. Should be the exact same link. So feel free if you have a chance to comment on that file. I would really appreciate it just to make sure all of this is working. I'll even paste it in again. All right, you said definitely. Andrea, the word definitely. Oh, that is a tough one. I would throw way too many E's where the I's are. The cat doesn't like me, Carol. She does, but I'm puppy dog energy. Doesn't vibe with a cat who's obviously like cat energy. Okay, so there we have that. I'm gonna move me to maybe to the other side. And then we'll kind of move on from here. There we go. Sorry about that. Let's get to animating. Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun. There we go. Fit me in there perfect. Okay, cool. All right. Andrea Noun is here. All right, so we have version history. People will be able to add comments, hit share. Oh, request to edit. Yeah. Sure, why not? Okay. People with the link can comment. So I was just checking this. Oh, okay. So public, anyone with the link can view. So I think I needed to do that. Make sure that is on. Copy link, and I'll paste it. Hello, Sliman. Somebody just kicked open the door and said, hello. All right, we hear ya. Welcome. Okay. All right, so you don't need Photoshop to comment on that file, on that link that I just pasted in. Okay, so feel free. It should load up. Let's move on, right? You guys are going to add your comments. Hopefully it comes through. Okay, thank you. Okay, Elizabeth says it works. Thank you. Okay, so perfect. Okay, so that was my fault with the permissions. So I hit share, which is the same as going up here and hitting this button right here. By default, and by the way, I gave way too many people ability to edit it. But you need to go down here and make sure you change this to public. So that was my problem. Sorry about that. People will add comments. We'll see people drawing. They say it's an awesome design. I'm working on it as we speak. So the cool thing is I'm going to have this content move, maybe the text animate, but you could just kind of see these being like little windows of content, things moving around, okay? Like the colors, things look great. I could probably tighten up the colors as well, but let's save that. People will comment, and you'll see your comments roll through on the live stream. Can you change possibilities to chances? Yes, but that's going to double your price for this project. I can't just be changing things like that. I want a giraffe. Okay, I like giraffes. Likes the colors, love it. Okay, cool. I will check in with that later on, but all I did is save that as possibilities. So we will go into After Effects now, and we will close this project. That's right, I was playing with his already earlier. So we can make a new composition. Anytime you make a composition in After Effects, right, you can leave everything blank here. You're not going to have anything going on. I just made a comp layer, right? So a layer comp, consider this your canvas. So that's all this is. Your canvas, or your document, basically, right? Your viewable area, your artboard, okay? But the cool thing is everything's already set up. So we could use these tools up to the top. If we want to animate this, I can take the text tool, click right in here and say chances, as Steve requested. And notice how it's set to transparent, right? It's not going to be a transparent video. So right down here, and let me move this character panel. Shouldn't be over there anyway. What are those guys doing? Right here. Click right there. That's more like it. Now we can see chances. Chances are everywhere, or possibilities are everywhere. As I type that in, you can see it creates this lovely layer down here at the bottom, okay? It only made this text layer 15 seconds long. So this is probably the most important thing. Like if you don't see something there and you're typing or who knows what, right? Chances are be aware of your timeline marker, right? So right in here, again, we're going to talk about animating layers. Technically, this is a text layer. If you go into preferences, by the way, we'll go into preferences, right? Typically, all my documents usually like 30 seconds long, 15 seconds long, just like post them to Instagram or wherever else. But in the properties panel, you're able to change the length of your assets that you import. So as I import different layers from Photoshop or whatever, I want to make sure that they're the length that I want them at. Okay. All right. Finally, here we are. Import right here. So instead of coming in as a certain, it could be a certain length or the length of the composition. So I'm just changing that. Sequence footage. Yeah, just, that's about it in here. That's all I'm going to mess with. I just need to change that to length of composition. But I could always grab that and move that there. Twirl this down, twirl this down. We have the text. We have the transform, right? We'll make this larger. We'll be mindful of the size. I'm actually not sure on the size of this. Right? I am scaling it up, but also if we take a look at the source text, I can just drag up the size of the text as well. Let's change this to fit. There we are. Boom, boom. All right, you guys get it. Let's move on. Checking the... Daryl, you're saying you're a spelling champ? That's awesome. All right. Wow, I'm just reading about this. Fury is going through a semifinal in spelling as well. Fascinating. Right, so I could do all my text in here, but we already did all this stuff in Photoshop. So what do? Heck, let's just import it. In fact, you can just go right to your desktop if you wanted to. Grab your possibilities. Oh yeah, shoot, I saved it as a cloud document. Let's see what all the crazy comments are. Oh good, I'm so glad people added pins. So Alexander says he wants a giraffe here. So as I roll over that, right, we can see the comment that gets highlighted. Increase the contrast with the background. Thank you for that, Frank. I would change the contrast and color and value here so the individual words stand out more. Cool. Such good feedback. Super cool. And then you can draw as well. Oh, you guys are awesome. Yeah, and anyways, I would just jump in, make those changes, maybe adjust the levels. There, you want it darker so it's easier to see. There you go, made that change. All right, so I need to save this as a desktop. PSD. I'm just going to call it POSS. Close one. All right, desktop. There it is. Drag this in to After Effects. I get this. It says, hey, I want to import it. Not as footage. No, I want to import this as a composition, which I was just working in. Make it a composition. Give me editable layer styles. I like composition retain layer sizes. So it's not going to make, one layer, even though it's one item in the corner, it's not going to make it the whole canvas size. So retain layer sizes, right? You ready? We'll click OK. And now we have this brought in. So we have our possibilities. I'll just even jump in here and rename this. That's annoying. And then all the layers are right in here. Twirl that down. Sure enough, everything. Oh, come on, keyboard. I feel like my keyboard's dying and I did not plug it in. And then you have all your layers and your pre-compositions. Oh, this will be interesting as well. All right, so let's see what happens. Here it is. Here's layer one. Let's go back to what this is. Guess what? I had everything in this layer one. So this layer one group brings it in as its own little composition. So was that smart on my part? No, I usually do a lot better job of cleaning this up. But let's just double click on this composition, and sure enough, we're right in here, and we can see each one of these pre-comps as well. So that's what it does. It says, hey, you know what? In order to make this correctly, I have to put everything in these. It's almost like a smart object layer, okay? So if we look inside of the POSSI, sure enough, we'll click in there, and we have, let's actually turn that off so you can just see. We have the lake, and then the text all set up. And what's cool about this is we can start animating all of this content. So let's go back. Hope you guys find this interesting. I gotta look at chat, see what you guys are doing. Or maybe put each letter in a separate layer on the transparent back. Yeah, that would be great. So Silliman, yeah. That would give me so many layers. And again, I don't have 4 hours to do this stream. In fact, I only have 25 more minutes. So that's why we're gonna do it with 5 objects, and we're gonna have some fun with it, right? I don't know what you guys even think about the black, right? We can go with black. What if you don't like the black? Well, we'll change it. We'll go into composition settings. We'll change the color to white, because that's ultimately what it was. Click OK. There it is. Okay. We have these individual pre-comps, which are okay, right? We could take any object and we can start to transform it. So we'll go into position. We could change the position, maybe the opacity. So as I click on these stopwatches, I'm adding these little keyframes right in here. So it's going to be have these settings or these properties at this point in time, right? A lot of times you want to work backwards. We're going to create an animation that builds. So let's undo that. Let's go in, say 1 second, right? Then I click on this opacity. Let's get this into view. Click on opacity and click on position, because this is the final position and the final opacity, right? Then we'll go clear here to 0 frames. And then we'll take this opacity all the way down. Okay, we'll take that down. And actually, before we even do that, before we take it all the way down, we also want to move it. So take this and kind of move it down as well. It's kind of like right there. Okay, we'll take that opacity down to 0. We'll hit the space bar and we can see it float up, right? Pretty straightforward if you ask me. Like, zoop. But again, this is brand new. This is a Photoshop masterclass, and yet we're doing After Effects just for fun, huh? So you can see that kind of floating up, right? We want it to rest into place right here, right? It needs to go slow. So we'll select this keyframe. We'll go into Keyframe Assistant. Right down here, I did a right click, Keyframe Assistant. This is what separates the, I'm gonna say, the amateurs from the pros, is the fact that the pros do easing, right? Click right there, and did it do it? Yeah, it did do it. Notice how it changes the keyframe look. So it's going to ease in and out. So it's going to be much smoother motion. I just did that on position, but now I hit the spacebar, it slows down. So rests into place. We won't get into the timeline graph right now or anything. So. Oh, darn. I'm so sorry, Fairy, that happened. Sony likes the black background. Okay, that works. We could mess with that. So let's animate this really fast. So now that we know this, you're thinking, okay, I have to do this 4 more times. It's so much easier. I'm going to show you all the shortcuts. I always do that. I hit 0, and it removes my project panel. Command 0. Okay, so I'm gonna go right in here. We animated the first line. I'm gonna select all 4 of these at once. We're gonna hit P for position. It opens that up. Add all those positions for all of those. Add those positions. Hit T for opacity. Click, it adds it for all of them. Scroll to the beginning, right? Now for opacity, I actually don't want to change opacity yet. I'm going to hit P for position, right? So now I get to move things around. Okay, so I can move things kind of based on these sliders. I can kind of I can have everything kind of, yeah, I think I will have everything kind of slide up. I think that would be fun. If everything kind of slides up. Okay, so starting, finish point, multiple keyframes, multiple easy ease at once. And yeah, let's make our life easy. Hit 0. Again, I have multiple keyframes selected. I hit 0, it changes all of them, and we're done with this part of the animation. Right, that all kind of fades up, right? Thing is I want it to go sort of 1 line at a time. So we're gonna do we're gonna stagger these out by a couple frames. And this is something you're just gonna have to play with. Stagger, stagger, stagger. Right, hit the space bar, like that. Now we can see everything kind of flow up the way we want, okay? Got it, got it, got it. Cool. All right. So yes, you could take notes if you're down with that. I would say, hey, you know what? Bookmark this for viewing later on. Follow Evan Abrams, Jason Levine, these guys that really know After Effects. I'm just your designer in After Effects, right? So we can see that flow up. That looks good. But now as we look at it, we're like, yeah, inside of each one of those lines, we need to start animating the image, right? Guess what? Everyone has its own separate little composition, like its own little PSD, if you will, right? So we could double click on that. And then inside of here, we have this lake, right? Based on what we know now, we could start to play with all of these properties. So maybe I want to move, and this is really long, but we'll play with the position, the scale. So let's just click on position and scale. Maybe we'll scale it up. Actually, I want to zoom in. So I'll start with this smaller, like that. And then we're going to go larger. So click, stretch this out. I don't know, like that. I don't know what you guys think. Maybe it starts here. Maybe it goes large. Like, I don't know. The cool thing is this is something we get to play with for each one of these. We'll go into ability. Here we are. With the canoe, it's the same process. All right, you guys demand to be impressed. I know, you guys are such a tough crowd. You're like, make it cooler. Ooh, I like it kind of starting with nothing and then maybe bringing in the detail of this land, like that. Like that. So again, and, you know, maybe we'll make all of these last like 60 seconds. Or excuse me, 30 seconds. Checking to see if you guys have any questions. Go big or go home. That's right. Hit P for position, S for scale. Your magic key right in here is going to be your U key. Your U key is going to bring up everything that has a keyframe. That's your Uber key. Hit U for Uber, and it brings up everything that you've added a keyframe to. Notice how the keyframes are down there. So this one definitely needs a lot of work, right? Maybe it's dark, maybe it's light. Technically, the original composition is lighter, but either way, we're just going to kind of move this. Maybe we'll scale it down a little bit. There's our original color of our text in there. Scale it down. Right? Add your own sound effects. And what are we doing? We're just animating layers in After Effects. Guess what? I didn't even animate anything in Photoshop. Everything we've done, I can do in Photoshop so far, just so you know. A lot of times I'll scrub on these numbers. So rather than me grabbing these corners, I'll just go down here and I'll scrub on these numbers. And it works for any field. If it has an underline to it, you can do these scrubby changes. Same thing for Photoshop. So again, my goal is to like you to take your Photoshop skills to, again, the next level. Like so. Last one. Something like that. Let's go back into this one. Let's stretch this out. Space bar. And now we can see everything move. right? And we can make it loop and all that stuff. I don't think you guys know. I've been like dealing with After Effects since. So I used to do graphics. I worked for a television network, and I did a lot of motion graphics for them back in the day. So again, that stuff slides out. We can see everything move around and all that fun stuff. Cool. We could go on and on. All right. So cool. Noel brings up a great point. You're like, hey, I thought this was a Photoshop masterclass, not an After Effects masterclass. Couldn't I do this in Photoshop? Yeah, great call. And you obviously know how to do it, actually. So we'll go in a timeline. Here I'm in Photoshop, and you're right. You're exactly right. I should have shown this earlier. Shame on me, by the way, 100%. I'm just going to do a save as to. I'm going to ungroup this because again, we don't need all these layers. I want to be really mindful of everything over here, and typically I want to name everything. So this will be space. These are flowers. Because as we get into our timeline panel, this is, I don't know, galaxy. There we go. Everything is named. Right down here, we'll click, so sorry, create video timeline. And now we can see everything. And this is typically why I would name it. Yes, we do see thumbnails here, but as you're kind of working further down, you might not see it. So yes, to your point, we could jump in here and say, hey, you know what? Let's move this lake image. Everything you've just learned, right? I'm kind of doing things backwards, but we were just messing with the position and opacity earlier. So we could do that again. Click, we've added a keyframe there. We'll move this over and slide it over, say, this way. So we'll just like make sure it slides from maybe one side to the other. Slides that direction. But you can immediately see kind of like, you know, it is somewhat limited. This is, again, this is your gateway drug to After Effects right here. You're like, hey, I want to animate so much more than what is here. And that's what gets you into After Effects. And that's what I was showing today. All right, so you get the idea. Boom, boom. Maybe move that up. And again, we see that content moving. All right. Oh, Dana Pride did graphics for a TV station back in the day, too. Oh, that's cool. I did not know that. What other lives have people had? What other lives have you led? I also worked at McDonald's. I was like main guy back there on the grill. I was like the grill king. Any other McDonald's employees? Are you an MCO? What does MCO stand for? Oh, that is funny. Ooh, I like that. Steve says that Tony Harmer says After Effects is Photoshop on wheels. I like that. So again, everything is moving. We could do this a couple more times. Checking the time. I only have 10 minutes. And I wanted to do more with this. I think you guys get the idea, right? We can move this stuff around. We can render it out. Just go to export, render video. We've rendered that out. Okay, just follow, fill in the blank, right? It's this new stuff. And really, it's the whole idea of like taking things to the next level. Like, what else can we do right in here? We can stretch and push images and pull things around, right? Going in here. Like I said, stretching and pulling things around. Remember, we started way back. Remember, long ago, 50 minutes ago, we were actually in Illustrator. So these are actually the original like Illustrator paths. We brought that into Photoshop, and now it's in After Effects. So this top layer I was animating, my keyboard is going to be the death of me. But I'll twirl this down, and what these are actually colors with masks on them, right? So I can change this mask path. So this, just basically this vector path, right? Color doesn't matter. Actually, let's turn this off so you can see it. Okay, so let's... it should be this one. So I'm going to look at... And maybe I'll... Yeah, maybe I'll change the color of this to black. Right, so we can see that now. I just changed this layer mask to black. We're going to click on mask path. So I just added a keyframe right here. We're going to move this over. And now the very beginning of this mask path, well, guess what? I'm going to move that, like maybe these points right here. So we'll click on them and move them in like so. Right, we'll take this one, kind of move that in. Take this guy, move it up. Because we want it to kind of stretch out. Right, so I just created this new keyframe. So this is what's going to happen. It's going to do that push, like so. And then we want to also maybe play with the position. So I'm going to add a keyframe for position, move that down. Again, we kind of work backwards. And I will take this position. Oh, geez. Oh, I can't. Oh, that does it for the whole thing. My bad. We're going to go back into mask path. We're going to take this path, all these lovely points, and we're going to move them all over. That's better. Sorry. Forget this whole position thing. But basically, this is what happens. It does that sort of whoop, like that. And then we could have as much fun as we want with all of this, right? With each one of these. We'll go back out. Actually, let's go back in, turn this back on so we can still see that. But now we have this like growing effect that happens with that letter. Yeah, this is After Effects. Right, we're gonna have a lot of fun with this R, A-R-E. We'll do the same right in here. We'll go into its masks. Right, look at this. Oh yeah, this one's gonna be fun. That's the third mask, I can tell by the color. And maybe we'll have this grow over the course of 5 seconds. I'll add a keyframe for the mask path, go down, and then we'll grab this and move this in like so. So it's going to start there. It's going to go, and it's going to be awesome. Let's watch it. Hit the space bar. You can see that grow. Yeah, Stony, we will have to swap stories sometime. Okay, so this is all well and good, but guess what? This... Oh, shoot. I don't even know if I know how to do that. I gotta expand this column out. Okay, so I was thinking about replacing this content with video, right? So again, since we're in After Effects, and even if you're in Photoshop, guess what? Did you know you could use video in it? So I have these cool videos, like these clouds. How cool is that, right? We could take that, maybe use that video clip in Photoshop, right? We're already doing all that fun stuff with it. First thing is you make sure your playhead's back down to 0, because as you start adding layers, it's going to be a whole thing. So let's just see what happens if I take this and I drop it into Photoshop. Let's just see what kind of chaos is going to happen. Dropped it in. Pure chaos. It makes a smart object right over here. We'll double click on it. You can see that's a video layer. So the video, that smart object is actually a video. And that is gorgeous, right? So that's super cool. So now with this video in here, maybe I want to, like, I don't know, swap out some of those other things. Right? So let's take that lake at the top. Right? Let's just replace it with video. Actually, no. Let's go down here. Something that I have not animated yet. The A-R-E. The R. So let's move this down. Those clouds right there, those are the video. So as I scrub through, we could see those clouds moving. All right, and all I did is drop in a video file like anything else. It's pure chaos. It's gonna be chaos, guys. Look at this. Oh, beautiful ripples. Oh, so nice. What else do we have over here? More fancy clouds. I wanted just some like basic shapes that you could still, it's still legible. So let's do this to the next one. Click, move this down. We just put that video in every, right? We can see that moving. Those are awfully similar. Blue sparks. Gold particles. Ooh, let's add the gold particles. It's very similar to that last image anyways. In fact, I'm thinking, you know what? I would love to combine those two. So guess what? This is a smart object. So let's scrub through this first off. Oh, I made the cardinal mistake that I knew was going to happen. You're probably going to run into this as well. I dropped in that layer when my timeline marker was clear down here. So it's like you will see the layer over here, but you're not going to know like where the heck it is because you don't see it on the canvas. Well, that's because you dropped it in later on in the timeline. So move that over, and then we have the cool sparkles doing their thing. But really, I want the sparkles to rain down. So guess what? Blend modes work. So we could change this to, say, overlay, or even soft light, or something else. Let's go with overlay. And now we have that overlaying, those sparkles overlaying on that image. All right. Oh man, Reverb Mike, you're talking about McDonald's. Now I'm like starving. I haven't eaten all day. I got a little bit, actually I have a yogurt right here. So yes, I've had a yogurt so far. But are you guys not having fun? Is this not fun? Are you not? I hope you're inspired and think this is amazing. Because I'm like, come on. There's nothing more I can do to help you. We have video in Photoshop, right? Rendering that out. Why do I talk about video and animation stuff? Because like that content gets like so many more eyeballs. Gets a lot more engagement than say a static image. Not to disparage a static image, but the truth is like video gets a lot of interaction, right? And all we're doing is we're taking something static and say, you know what? We need to give it some punch. This is something else I can add to my repertoire for my clients or whatever. Like, you know, most of my content's digital. Why not make it move as well? So right in here, we're gonna render that out to the desktop. You get the idea. It's pretty large. But then, you know, again, rendering it out. Yeah, it's fun. Yes. I've been wanting to learn this. By the way, where do I get this content? You can get this content from stock.adobe.com. So I could jump out here. It would have to be video. The question is, can I find... Actually, let's do this. Let's go free. I don't know if there's any free video content out on Adobe Stock. So that's my question. Enter. Okay, so this is what we do. Yeah, we just sort by video type. So look, videos. Click. Show me all the free videos. There's over 8,000 results in here. So if I do landscape, right, we're used to grabbing free landscape images. Now let's grab a free video file to use in our project. So we'll zoom back out. Lovely like this stuff is really cool. Yeah, let's license that. That's free. Treat it like anything else, right? Just like any other layer. Just making it spectacular. Okay, so that'll download and you can see what it can do. So that's the power of Photoshop with its layers, bringing that stuff into After Effects with its layers and moving things around. And again, this is just kind of the start. I still have a lot of work to do, but still we know we're just editing vector shapes at this point, right? So we'll take the word every. This is what I will be doing after I eat something, is going through here and like, okay, animating these masks. You know, and yes, is it work? Yeah, well, welcome to life. Yeah, it's gonna be work, but you know, it's gonna be worth it, more importantly. So, again, just to like identify the color, I know it's this one. Animate that mask path. It's gonna be a blast. If I wanted to get fancy, let's see how I can't really rename that, but That's okay. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Hopefully you guys like this. I don't have time to cover anything else. We'll just kind of have this roll through. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on this fine Friday. We have awesome Jason Levine up next. He is really the After Effects master. I just fake it on occasion. But again, just bring your designs to life using After Effects. So thanks so much for watching. You guys are amazing, and I've really enjoyed hanging out with you, especially with the daily creative challenges. So thank you, Anne and Dana and Chris. Give Jason my love as we kind of launch into the next segment around audio and video, which is going to be pretty good because it's all about what's new in Premiere Pro CC 2022. Would be awesome. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye.